right, so part 5 today, or at least in this video, not today because I don't have it, but I should hopefully get this car driving. The radiator has been returned, the new one should be on its way, and hopefully in the next couple days I get it. That way I can finish everything up. Some things I did off camera: I fixed the wire on the spark plug. We do have some new ones, so I may or may not return them. I don't know. Let me see how it works. Put the return fuel line on. Whoop-de-doo. We should go. Both seats do not fit. None of them fit because it's from a different, it's like a 9091 EF, but one bolt does fit, so I might just try to get one bolt in for the front seat. I'm not worried about the passenger seat. That way I could actually drive it. This wiring needs to be cleaned up. I need to figure out what goes to what and what doesn't need to be needed. That doesn't make no sense. But figure out what's needed, what's not. Basically, I need to ground the fuel pump, see if this is a grounding point here, if I could use it, this whatever, the fuel neck, and then hopefully by the end of this video I'm driving it. All right, so I got a lot of these wires tucked up, the relays all bolted down. I spliced this wire and soldered it into the harness instead of, you know, I don't know, using a little plastic splice thing. I'd rather do it like this, so it's nice. I got to clean that up. I could not find out for the life of me what this green wire goes to, what this wire goes to. Maybe it went to, I have no idea. I tried looking, I went through the connectors. I did find out, where is it? I don't know. I can't find it now. There's a connector under here, and it's for the CRX. I think I tucked it up. It's for the CRX, and it's actually what's supposed to go to the pump. And I guess on the EF, it's this big 20 pin wire, and on the CRX, it's actually on a different pin. So that was kind of interesting. So I'm going to probably just leave that for now. And I have a crate, because it's the crate challenge. I'm going to do the crate challenge here and use that as a chair and just try to back up the car on it under its own power and move it forward. See how that goes. All right, I'm gonna jump it. I'm gonna test to see if the alternator's charging, and then I don't know. I jump in and try to drive it backwards, I guess. So let's crank it. Turn this off. It's running, so that's good. Sorry for the crazy camera. I'm trying to do this real fast. We are charging. Hell yeah. Thing's running good. Holy poop. Make sure I'm not leaking gas. I don't think anything works. Tach don't work. Fuel don't work. Nothing works. I'm gonna turn it off, then we go in it. As you can see, it drove. It made noises, nothing bad, but I don't know, the belt made a squeak, maybe the axle made a noise, I don't know. All I did was back it up, and drive it back in. Sitting on the crate is a real pain in the ass. Yeah, I don't know if I showed you. I'm sitting on a crate to drive it because the seat doesn't fit. So I stopped short like that because I couldn't reach the pedal fast enough, even though I'm 6 feet tall. But I couldn't reach it fast enough, and I felt like I was going to fall back, so I just pulled the e-brake and right, it stopped short. Better if that happened than me crashing to the SOAR, because I'd probably kill myself. So now we're just waiting on the radiator, and we can do some real testing. But confirmed the cluster does not work at all. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I was reading online, and it said that I guess you have to repin some things, but I don't understand how I'm gonna go. When you got no seat, you gotta do that crate challenge. Right, so hopefully what's in this box is the correct full-size radiator for the for the EF, my bad. So I'm gonna open it and hopefully it fits. Well, it's the right one, it's hitting on where this bracket's supposed to go. I can't get it to slide into the lower bracket. So I'm thinking about just cutting this off here, because honestly I'm not gonna use that. That's for like a factory fan. So I think I'm just gonna do that and see if it helps. Well, after test fitting it, even cutting off some tabs, I come to realize I think it's bent like that way towards this frame support. So I'm gonna try to bend it into place somehow. I tried with this bar, I tried with that bar. It bends, but it just comes right back. So I need to find out a good way of getting it straight enough to fit the radiator. So radiator is in. I attached the fan. These are super ugly brackets we got off eBay, and they don't line up just because the whole support is bent forward. I'm not super happy with the fitment, but I don't know. It's like, how crazy do I need to bend it back to actually make it work? I tried the poles. I don't know if it worked. It worked enough to get it in, I guess. Let me see if the hood closes. That should be the important thing. I'm going to do the hoses. I hope this hose fits, because I mocked it up just the way it is. It does hit the lever here for the cable to hydro, or hydro to cable. I don't know. Whatever. There's no hydro. It's just cable, little lever. So hopefully if I trim it, it'll fit. So I'm gonna try a little bit of trimming. We have a cleared space, and I'm pretty confident that it won't interfere. So I guess we'll go ahead and clamp those up and finish up the rest of the hoses. So I went through a lot of trouble, and I still am not happy with this, but there's a slight kink here, a little kink here. This is a Integra, DA Integra hose, and just nothing I can get. This I had laying around. I tried to sell the hose, a lot of messing around and no luck really. So I'm just gonna run this. If you guys know what hose would fit this perfectly with a full-size EF radiator and a B20, please put in the comments, because I'm at a loss. But for now, I think I'm just gonna run it. I think it'll work. If I have any major issues, we'll switch it out, but not super happy with that. But at this point, I can now fill it up with coolant, bleed it, and get this thing running. Whoa, here we go. I wanted to use blue. Blue is super expensive. It'll be fine with the green coolant. It's already 50-50 diluted. Just gonna fill it up so we got no more air, and then let it run. So, about to start it up. Fan is not hooked up. I still need to put the fan controller in, but the plan is get it running, like, I don't know, for like a little bit where I feel like it's gonna get hot, shut it down, let it run, shut it down, let it run, shut it down. Maybe our temperature gauge will work, which I highly doubt, but if it does, then we can keep an eye on it. If it doesn't, we're gonna go with that method where I just shut it down, and somewhere in between I'll wire up the fan and put it directly on the battery. That way it's just constantly running until we set that up and diagnose possible leaks or whatever in between. Right, pretty sure it's in gear. I can't tell. Yeah, we're in neutral. All right, let's crank her over. Let her bleed. ACH does not seem to be working. So that's an issue. Sounds like it's running pretty good though. Well, I was supposed to be starting and driving the car. As you can see, the valve cover's off, and that is some bad news. I went to go crank it last night. I drove it drove fine. I stopped it, whatever, everything was great. Went to go crank and start it today so I could test drive it, and it just didn't sound right. It just sounded like no compression. And then I kept hearing like the rock arms click, like I could hear them spring up, and I'm like, that does not sound right. So I took off the cover, and this doesn't seem right. I could take this off. This one, I could take this one off. When I crank it, they're not even making contact. This one of these is really loose. I think it's this one, depending on what stroke it's on. Timing's good. I took off the intake manifold to see if maybe something got sucked up, and there's nothing stuck in the valves. So tomorrow I'm gonna get a borescope from work, and I don't know, just see what the conditions of the pistons look like. But this is just really, I don't know, frustrating, because everything was going so well. So sorry folks. Well, with the unfortunate events of the head, possibly the bottom end, I borrowed a borescope from work, so I'm gonna just shove the camera down and just see if there's any visible damage to the piston. That way, kind of figure out a course of action, if the motor's gonna be no good, or if the head took a shit, or who the hell knows. But hopefully gets a better idea with the borescope. I know this is very hard to see, but I'm looking at the piston, and I don't see anything too crazy. I don't know if that's a dent right here. It's hard to tell, but it doesn't look like anything like really bad. Like the piston smashed into the valve. Like maybe a little something there, but not like anything bad. All right, so I looked at the piston head with the borescope. Didn't see anything substantial that tells me some major damage happened. So I'm guessing maybe, I have no idea what happened. I wish I did. Nothing's jumping out at me, so it looks like, if anything, the valve kissed the top of the piston. That's it. Just maybe something on the crank. I don't know, but for whatever reason, there's something wrong with the head, or whatever happened. So I'm gonna talk to the owner, see what he wants to do. If he wants to just look for a head, or if he wants to scrap it and we K-swap something, much rather do that, because this thing has been a pain. Just different things with the chassis, different things with the engine. You know, I don't know. It's one thing after another with this thing. It's like it's cursed. I don't know, but we tried our best. So we were trying to drive it this episode, part 5, but that obviously didn't happen. So once I have an idea what he wants to do, try to update you guys. But for now, I think that's going to conclude the video with some bad news after things were going so good. So until next time, it's Jay-Z Chris. Later.